What's up guys, me Joe Mindstein here. In today's video we're going to be doing something a bit different. We're back at Sculthorpe again, however this time it's to do with a bit of a different project. So, we're currently walking back towards my favourite bit in Sculthorpe here, in the buildings. It is to try out a bit of equipment that I was built recently. It's a computer, but it's been built in the pelican case, so it's completely mobile. All you need to do is get a power source and basically it's got the rest of what you need. So it's actually quite a smart setup, and we are in. So we're back here at my favourite part of Sculthorpe, in this bit here. As you can see, it's one of my favourite buildings, as I said in my last video. So what we're actually going to be doing is we are testing a piece of equipment which I built recently. Like I say recently, it was about a year ago that I built it, and I've been testing it. But this is the first proper outdoor test of it, I guess you could say. So I'll actually show you this now. So this is it here. It's a pelican case. However, if you open it up, inside, as you can see, it's got a computer inside. So, I know one of the questions you guys are going to be asking is how am I actually going to be powering this? Because if you look in MOD Sculthorpe, as I'm sure you can imagine, the electric doesn't actually work in here. So you see it's right up there. I'm pretty sure it would be obvious, but for those who are wondering, no, MOD Sculthorpe does not have any electricity. So if you are going to be doing something like this, you are going to have to bring your own power. So for me, I use this here, which is the ecoflow Reaver 2. So here we have my ecoflow Reaver 2. I'll quickly turn that on. You can see it's charged up to 100%. So with that, this computer here normally draws about 50 to 70 watts of power, which that can normally do about 1 to 2 hours. However, this does come with a solar panel. I haven't bought it today because we are inside. However, normally when I am in the forest using this, I do actually bring the solar panel with me, and that normally evens it out. The solar panel, when I'm in the forest, it can generate anywhere between 100 to 120 watts, which actually goes quite nicely with this. It means we're charging the battery and also able to power this at the same time. We've got the ecoflow Reaver 2 plugged into here. Now it's just a case of turning this on. You'll see it'll boot up. Okay, so now I've got everything all set up. I've got the ecoflow Reaver 2 turned on. It's powering this computer. You may also see that I have a laptop set up here. So my intention for this was to use this actually more like a server, hence why it's got a very small screen. It's also got a router here, which is the GLNet AC130, I believe. So if you come down here, you can actually see I've got onto the network, and you can see now if I go onto the peli desktop thing and I can do the remote connection, you'll see it logs into the computer. And you'll see we are now logged in. Okay, so another fun little feature of this setup here is this computer, it dual boots into Linux and Windows. So that basically means I can swap between the two operating systems. Now to do this is actually fairly easy. All you need to go to here is literally shut down the computer. As you can see, that will shut this computer down here. The laptop stays on. And then when you do that, with this computer here, we also have a little miniature Bluetooth keyboard in, which I'll just quickly get out now. Okay, so now I've got the keyboard out. All you need to do to dual boot the system is to simply turn it on, make sure you turn the keyboard on, and then all you need to do is hit the, I believe, the F11 key. As you can see, we have now got into the boot manager. What you need to do, just go down to the SSD, hit enter, and now as you can see, that is now booting into Linux. So currently I'm on Kali Linux, which to be honest is a bit of a regret of mine. I wish I did put something like Ubuntu on here, which is what a lot of my other computers are using. Ubuntu seems to be a better general purpose system, however Kali is more designed for pen testers and networking and stuff like that, which is understandable, which is actually what I never really intended this computer to be doing. It's more of a general sort of computer, which is what I meant to have. So I think maybe I will be reinstalling Linux on here sometime eventually if I do get around to it. However, I've been getting on pretty well with Kali Linux. It's not really hindered me too much in the way of things. But that's enough about that. We can now log into Kali, as you can see I'll quickly do that. Okay, so now it's booted and we've logged into the system. You can see now we're able to run standard Linux commands. So this one here I'm going to run is called HTOP, which is basically Task Manager but for Linux. As you can see, this here is basically just giving me a little readout of what the system's doing. For those of you who are wondering what the specs of this system are, it's quite an old system actually. It was built back in 2012. It's got a GTX 680, i5 2400, and 8 GB of RAM. So it's not a powerful system by any means. However, back in 2012, it was actually quite a decent system. So this computer here actually holds a bit of a special place in my heart because it was my first ever computer. So now to access Linux remotely, you have to use something called SSH. So here you just got to put the IP address of the computer in, which is 192.168.8.211. So you can see I enter that. You see it says login as. So this is where you'll put your account credentials. So this one here is called peli PC. You do that and it asks for your password. So I'll quickly put that in now. Okay, and we are in. So now with this, you can just run through your standard commands like htop. So this here is basically just a bigger version of that. You can see what we're running here. You see it's only got 4 cores. As I say, it's quite an old system, so you can't do too much with it. Yeah, it's just something quite interesting, I believe. Where is it? You can run this just to see what's running. As you can see, there's not a lot really around here. There's no Wi-Fi signals because, well, we're obviously in the middle of an abandoned place. The ones that you will pick up, as you can see, are just the ecoflow, and there should be another one from the actual router there, but I don't seem to be picking it up. Oh yeah, it's just picked it up there, so you can see. I'll quickly go through some other bits that you can do with this. So I'm going to quickly shut this down now and boot back into Windows. You can see I'll run the shutdown command. You can see that now turns off. I will now reboot this and get it back into Windows. Okay, so now we're basically booting back into Windows. So you can see I'm back into the boot manager. Yeah, we are going to get into Windows. As you can see, it's now booted into Windows. I'll show you some other cool features of what you can do with the system. Okay, so we're now booted into Windows, as you can see. We are going to remote desktop back into this. And we're in. So, a really cool thing with this, I've got a lot of the Wikipedia saved offline from this, so you don't actually need an internet connection to do a lot of things with this. You can see here, we've got some of the files, got WikiHow, Arch Linux, Ubuntu, Chemistry Stack, iFixit, WikiHow, Wikipedia, got all sorts of stuff on here. So to do this, we use a software called Kiwix, which I'll quickly get up here now, as you can see. Now I'll do trust source. And here we are. So this is WikiHow. I know it's got a bit of a interesting reputation, to say the least. However, as I'm sure you can imagine, if the internet goes down and you're in an emergency situation, it's actually quite handy to have. You also can swap over to Wikipedia, which I'll just quickly do over now for you. Okay, so we're now into Wikipedia, which is what you would expect. So you can basically just go on here, click into something like engineering, for example. As you can see, it will give you your images and your information, just as usual. And if you find something on here that you like, for example wind power, you can click onto that and then it will give you information about wind power. So now when it comes time to actually pack this computer up, it's actually very quick and easy to do. All it is just simply turning the computer off. As you can see, that's now shutting down. The laptop, what we need to do is just literally do that, shut it down. And it's just a case of packing up all the cables and putting them back into a backpack. Unfortunately, that is the end of today's video. However, there will be more videos of this computer coming up in the future, so don't forget to like, share and subscribe to keep updated with what's going on. Also, if you do have any ideas of what I can do with this computer, please feel free to put them down in the comments. I'd be interested to see what use cases you guys can come up with for this. So, as I say, thank you guys for watching, and I hope you have a good day.